What's up guys, Jordan here from Rk-Tunes. Welcome back to the channel. So as you see, I'm in my F80 right now. I'm just chilling in here while we put this car fully back to stock and take off everything. This is the second video of 3 in terms of the full build breakdown and all the parts I had and what it took to make 1200 horsepower, go 9.1, break every record that there is for F80s. So we're gonna go in this video all over the breakdown a little bit more. The last video was breakdown a little bit about this car, and then we're gonna do one more video about the things I did wrong, things I would change, and every failure I've had from engines to transmissions, and then some. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of this, and so you don't miss out on the future videos. We're gonna get right into the car, starting with the back end. Motor build breakdown, simple stuff going on there. In terms of this is just my nitrous stuff that's just chilling here. And my fuel lines, once again as mentioned, -8 feed, -6 return line. It was more than enough fuel. Nitrous line, and then also he pulled off already I had fire suppression installed in the car. After the car caught on fire, I worried a lot. So valid reason to worry, I got fire suppression. Transmission back, there's a random used transmission. After I thought I broke mine, I didn't break it. I have Datsun clutches. I had Datsun Pro Max. I actually been running the non-Pro Max. I'm running the 9-plate, 10-plate clutch they sell now, which is a 10-plate, 10-plate. They don't even sell right now. They sell a 9, 10 instead, which is better. This can wear and then bind up and break transmissions and stuff. So they resolved that. Seems legit garage oil pan. It just seems legit. I'm not sure how legit it really is. I wish it had, it is good. It's a huge amount more fluid capacity. I wish the filter went lower, because in theory, like under G-forces, it could slop around, but I never had a problem with it. So I mean, this is one of the nicest DCT pans I've ever seen. So I would definitely suggest that. A little trick I did, if you look on the side, my fill, I'm not sure how great you guys will see it. Yep. I'm not sure you guys can see it, but the fill is raised up a little bit. I forget the size of this. If you go on Google, you can look up something similar. E92 M3 GTS fill, they raise on the side with something like that. It allows to put like 1 liter extra of fluid. Whole point of a bigger pan and that, and even a bigger cool in the front, I don't have a bigger cool in the front, I have a stock one, is more fluid volume equals, well, the more power you make, the more heat it puts into the clutches on every shift, more heat in general. So the more fluid you have, it takes longer for it to overheat and give you a problem. So I put the biggest pan, I would do that, I would overfill it a lot, and I would never have a problem really with clutches overheating after that. Working our way backwards, I have, what's missing right here is on the floor behind me, drive shaft shop, drive shaft, we'll show that over there. I have 2 of those as mentioned because I always have spares. We have custom diff bushings in the middle that are completely solid, and then we have power flex on the outside. I did that because if you put a drive shaft on these cars, it hits right here, and then you need to buy a second drive shaft. You don't need solid, you can get away with the power flex and power flex stuff. I just tried just solid in the middle, OEM on the outside first, it didn't work. I ruined the drive shaft to have buy another one. So then we did a power flex, we have that there. We have a diff brace, which we were relatively happy-ish with. We ended up changing a little bit how this works and fits. And then we made our own so that you can just buy them and install them, they work great. With dual mount diff ear in the back. So there, it allows it to not have wheel hop. I have a Dan Diffs Online differential. It's I think a wave track or something. I don't know how much it is. It's like a $3,000-$4,000 diff. I don't really know if it helped. I just did it because I wanted to just buy everything for the car before I went to Florida when I went 9.1 to potentially not have a problem. I had drive shaft shop axles in it, Islam was already working on taking out. With the car at impact, I was very worried that it was gonna be super sketchy. When you add something like anti-squat, when you lift, it loses grip, and when you're on throttle, it adds grip. So if you pedal the car at all, it can do sort of kind of weird stuff that the suspension does not stay loaded. Lots of cars in Formula Drift play with things like this, moving suspension points. Wide Fab makes a kit for F22 I already have that moves a point a little bit to change anti-squat. They're changing the hair of anti-squat by moving this arm here, which is sort of part of the anti-squat stuff. And if you move things upwards, it changes your, I guess, anti-squat line or something similar it's called. What I did was the most forwards arm. If you look, this arm normally bolts up in this hole. I put these brackets here and they're actually welded to the subframe to dramatically change this arm. Previously, and also I took the SPL arms and added high offset Heim joints. You can buy, they're like M12 by 0.625 if you ever tried doing this. They sell them on eBay. They're pretty good. They're from some off-road place. And it allows it to get more angle before it binds. So even if you just do that with SPL stuff, you'll actually get more suspension travel. We did that a while ago, and it didn't really do anything. It just gave us more travel and way more droop. My car is very high, so I actually raised the rear of the car, so I was actually maxing out the arms. So when the car would go to expand, it wasn't able to. So it looks like there's a stack of washers above it, if you can see, which looks sort of shitty, but it sort of kind of is what it is. These plates are also, they're fully bolted extremely tight because there's a nut inside, but they're actually also welded to the subframe, but that's really just more for rotation than for anything else. It was not really a concern that it would move. It was, or move up or down because how tight it is and how thick the metal is. It's more of a rotational thing because if this rotates, my alignment gets thrown off. So this is maxed out inwards and then tack welded there, and this one just tack welded in place once it was all lined up. So the car went 175 NPAC only on 2 passes. I didn't 60-130 then, but I had someone literally tell me, yo Jordan, your car looks super weird. It looks like when you're on throttle, your rear end comes up instead of squatting. That's the whole point of this. It's to drive the tire down and the body away to add force and grip. I never tried drag racing with it. Well, I tried going drag racing, it got rained out and stuff, so I never actually took it down the drag strip like this. Only did it at MPAC, but if you want more grip on your F80, as shitty as this whole thing looks, there's definitely ways to move arm points, the forward pointing ones up, in terms of the intersection, and you'll gain some level of anti-squat, I guess. And it seemed to work. It did seem grippier, and I had people tell me, I had one person tell me, yo, your car looks so strange, push the rear up. But that's one little secret, I guess, that I did, but it wasn't there when I went fast, so. I have BC two-way shocks on the car, and the front and rear, which is designed to help the car allow it to get the tire planted, settled, not unsettle on shifts, and unload as much. They're custom BCs. They can be ordered if anyone's looking for drag suspension. A lot of people are just using random rear shocks and saying they're the best drag shocks you can get because they're used for some domestic car and there's adapters and they now fit BMWs. That's not really the right way. You want to have something that has a lot of rebound and no compression in the front, and something sort of the opposite in the rear. That way when it drives the tire down, when it drives the rear end up in the rear, I guess in theory is if you have too much, if it allows it to go up too easy, it won't drive the tire down. It should be hard to expand, so it drives the tire harder. So we have those suspension-wise, BCs, custom stuff. They worked for me. They hooked me up with the parts a long time ago. They gave me exactly what I wanted. And then I made revisions to the rear height. They sent me all new stuff for it. I was really happy with that and actually drove really, really nice. The only thing I would suggest you can do is put a bigger sway bar in the car to help with the body roll. Because it definitely adds a little bit of body roll by running very soft stuff. So if you're trying to do street driving, crazy turns, and you do suspension, it's highly suggested. I had small brakes in the car, we took them off, they're right here. It's a small brake conversion that we used to sell a lot of, we haven't recently. It used a lot of OEM parts, and I was having a problem where the OEM parts I was ordering, well not OEM, even replacement stuff, I was having issues like the calipers not being the best quality. I didn't have any failures, any big issues with any of them really. I just had random signs. You'd have a leak on a seal where it wasn't supposed to be leaking, or the fitting wouldn't thread in perfectly. And the OEM ones you can't buy anymore from BMW for the car. We had to modify the OEM caliper in terms of how it mounts, but nothing internally how it functions. So I don't sell it right now. I might come out with something in the future that use like a Willwood caliper, which I think is a safer, good quality option. Only problem is a Willwood doesn't have a dust shield, so I really like the idea of the OEM with a dust shield to not really have a problem. I showed you guys the one arm thing. I also had SPL arms everywhere possible. They're pretty good. I didn't like the way some of the hardware worked on it. It's like we changed one side hardware. This is like a crushed nut. If you look at the little dot on them, it's like instead of using Loctite, they lock in by crushing. Sort of kind of crappy. They also, it does work though. Also, if you're gonna do that, use red Loctite everywhere. They will vibrate loose on you. Oh, we have one of the calipers here. You guys can see? It's not the car yet. And we modified here and some other things and weird hardware to make it mount up properly. And this set sold. This set I never had issue, no leaks, nothing. It's sat in the car for a long time. Drove it a bunch. It was great. But just too many like little inconsistencies with the caliper for me to want to sell it anymore like that. As you can see, these are my seats wrapped up really nicely because my car is super, super clean in my opinion. People complain that put on fire, can't be clean. It is absurdly clean in my opinion. I thought I took very good care of it. Minimal rock chips, minimal damages. seats were always clean, etc. When I went 9-1, it was a full interior vent, no nitrous. So they look at the car, make sure you're not running nitrous, and make sure you have full interior passenger seats allowed to be removed. I put 2 light seats in the car. I think I showed that previous video. So these were taken out. These are gonna go back in, obviously. Also, something I did, which people might say is cheating or not, I'm not sure. A lot of people that run fast F80s or try to be fast, they take out their rear seat, they take out little things to save weight. This car had no nitrous bottle in the trunk, obviously. But in terms of weight, I previously posted a video. Maybe I'll put a picture right now if I can find it of the weight. I think it was 3650 was the weight with me in it, which is not light for an F80 by any means. Only spot where we took weight out of the car other than the front seats, and also we were allowed to take out the passenger seat. I didn't do that. I left both in because they're lightweight. I have lightweight doors in the car. So here's 4 doors. So I know people are probably gonna cry and say that I cheated or something. I'm gonna show you guys right now on the scale the weight of these doors. The rear seats, if you remove them on this car, you'll probably save 20 pounds by doing that. I'll tell you right now, we'll check the weight of the old one and the new one. That way you guys can see. The lightweight doors have that. The glass is half the weight and there's no window motor. Other than that, it still has a door panel on it. I guess I can show you guys. So they're just black. The non-M trim's this. So when I went drag racing, no one caught on that my trim was a different color on the door. So I did say the car was full interior. I don't really think I lied that much. If that's the worst thing I did, and I took like 30 pounds out by putting doors on it instead of taking out the back seats because I wasn't allowed, and then I ran a passenger seat, it is what it is. A lot of people out there gut their cars trying to go for records, and I did it with that, with 2 seats, and I did that instead of my rear seats because I wasn't allowed. 56 pounds, and this is the OEM door, OEM glass. My door also had these things, which probably add a little bit of weight. The other door did not. So the new door weighs 39 pounds approximately, 39 point something. We just did the math before hitting record. We saved 33 pounds, I think we said?
Yep.
33 pounds, that's it, on these doors. So I know people are probably gonna think that I saved a ton of weight and this is super cheating. You don't save a lot for a lot of effort. The same way in the Drift 240, we realized everything you take out, you save 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there. So this is 33 pounds approximately for a lot of work. We had to buy doors for $300 each. We had to cut them up, or take the motors out, and then get them painted. Also added paint. So this is also, we left this little piece of glass because when we weighed the glass difference of this flimsy crap, it was literally half the weight. So the fact glass like 7 pounds. This saved like, this is like 3.5 pounds. So we're like, what is this, a pound or 2? We're not gonna save much. So the car compared to stock weight was about 37 pounds lighter plus the front seats. Also something that a lot of people wondered. These are obviously, as you can see, I got 2 sets of doors. Every single modification that was done to this car, anything was not on factory stuff. I have factory turbos, I have factory oil lines. There was no permanent modifications done to the car other than where one of the air boxes clips in, I bent the bracket to give a little bit more room for the turbo. I didn't even cut it. So I know people probably think car caught on fire, that's permanent. Every single thing that was damaged was replaced. Any wire damage replaced with OEM, with a new engine harness. The windshield was replaced with the OEM windshield. Every seal was OEM. The heater core unit was replaced with a used one. But hood-wise, this is a spare hood. My factory hood is up there somewhere. That matches perfectly above the dining room. Same thing like where these doors were. So everything that we did was on a spare or a duplicate. It wasn't for the reason of being able to go sell the car one day. It was just more so the fact that I like the idea that let's say I didn't want this hood anymore, I would do another. It's actually my second cut hood because the first one got damaged in a fire. So I put a second hood, or third hood, cut that one, and then put that one on the car. So my original hood that matches perfectly is still here. My doors that match perfectly are still here. There's no permanent damage from any of that bad stuff. We'll talk about wheels and tires. These are weld wheels. They're already sold to a customer. I have bead locks in the rear. I also had a set of non-bead locks. I don't know if I need the bead locks, but they look baller, so I bought them. Same thing like why I did the hood. The hood just looked cool, like a huge flex, so I did it. I don't regret any of that. But yeah, these are skinnies in the front. The tires I replaced just because the car sat for a while, not on the tires. The tires, these get like super crappy really quickly. So these are actually like have one event on them and the car sat jacked up mostly. Same thing on the rear. And then if you look, I also have weight, not that it really matters, but I have new tires up there. like I have spares of other things, I have too many spare new tires and stuff like that you normally probably wouldn't want or need. We're gonna get into way more on the car about everything else in terms of failures I've had and things I do differently now, 4 years later. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you want more F80 stuff. This is not the end for the F80s for me. It is just the end of this car. But all those other stuff will be in a future video we're gonna do in this car. I don't know, it'll be a few days later, a week later for you guys, maybe 2 weeks later, but we're already filmed that. We're gonna get that one out next. It's gonna take a little while. And we're gonna go over everything bad and everything to do better. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy. Be sure to stay tuned.